I want to quickly talk about positioning. In this script, let me just rearrange certain parts to show you what are the rules regarding where each declaration, each portion should be. When we create our class, the functions have to be created after the class. So I can't do this, I can't move this up here. If you compile it, there'll be an error. So that's the first rule. Functions got to be created after the class. The second part is where we create our object. So we usually do it in the on-start area, which is fine. You can continue doing that. But note that you can also move this here, outside of the on-start area. By doing that, we are making this object variable a global variable, meaning it can be accessed anywhere in this script, not just in the on-start area. If you were to create your objects outside of your on-start area, note that you have to do it below the class. We cannot put it above the class. Alright, if you compile it, there will be an error. So this goes below. But this may not be that important to you because in most cases, you'll be declaring your objects within the on-start area. So what about EAs and indicators? For EAs, let me choose something. Let me choose NR 1.0. We have declared our object, my trading control panel, here. And this is created as a global object. You see, it is outside of the onTick area, outside of the onDinit, outside of the onInit. So this, by creating it here, it can be used both outside of these three portions or in any of the three. And there's no compilation error here because the class declaration happens here in this file called trademqh. Remember, include literally brings the entire code from trademqh into this NR version 1.00 EA. If you were to look at this, include trade. Note that the classes are declared here. Alright. So we are creating this object variable after we declare a class. Like how in our positioning script, we can create the variable in the on-start area, I can also create this variable, my trading control panel, in the onTick area. There will be no error as well. But note that by doing this, you are creating this object variable again and again and again on each tick, which is not necessary. You can, however, create this variable in the onInit area. Alright, you get an error. Or in the onDinit area, which makes no sense. There's no reason for you to put it here. What about indicators? I know that we have not talked about indicators yet. So just briefly, let me show you something. Indicators, we don't have an object here, but just to show you, similarly, you can create object variables in the onCalculate area, which is sort of the equivalent of the onTick and the onStart, but you can't do it in the onInit. So just keep this information at the back of your mind. I doubt you really need to memorize this, but if you ever need to recall this, or if you have an error when you create your object variables, just come back to this lecture and you will find out what you need.